What's up, guys? This is my first tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint your very own Iron Man helmet. This is just in time for the release of Infinity War. I'm not going to be showing how to make one, only because I figure there's a lot of videos out there already on how to make one out of foam. For example, my buddy Sean over at Xieng Prod, on his channel, he did a fantastic job showing how to make a helmet out of foam. I will link that in the description. Also, I will link in the description all of the things that you need to paint this. I will link all the tools, all the brushes, and all of the specific paints that I used in particular to do this build. But this is a perfect video that shows you how you can paint your very own. You can do this in your kitchen, in your dining room. It's a very easy method of painting, and I hope you guys enjoy.
So if you're using foam, go ahead and seal it. Use a black Plasti Dip or any other gloss black sealant for foam. If you're using a plastic helmet like the Marvel Legends ones, just go ahead and use a black primer. The reason you want gloss black is because we will be coating it with metallics. Anytime you use metallic paint, you want a nice gloss black base. So now we're going to start with the gold. Go ahead and paint the faceplate gold. Just go ahead and brush it right on there. You don't have to spray it on or anything. You can use these metallic paints, they look fine. I like to use champagne gold for my Iron Man helmets. Just keep your brush strokes all going in the same direction. It'll help you look like brushed metal at the end. If you watch the film, it actually has these brush strokes in the film because it's brushed metal. So this is what it looks like after about 5 or 6 coats of that champagne gold. Gives it a nice uniform color, and at the end these brush strokes will really help. They'll work to your advantage in this project rather than against you. So now you can go ahead and take your metallic red paint, and if it's a really bright metallic red paint like the one I'm using, you can go ahead and use a drop or two of metallic blue, mix it with the red paint, and give it that nice metallic maroon color that it has in the film. This blue color will eat up your red paint and turn it purple if you use too much. You can see I'm only using a few drops to that compared to that half a jar of red, so don't overdo the blue. Next, you're going to want to shake it up, mix it well, and then you can just brush on this coating as well. Again, in the film, his suit does have strokes in certain movies. If you really wanted to, you can mask off the gold and then just spray on, thin it down, and just spray on this red color. I'm brushing it on because this particular paint, this Aztec Pearl airbrush paint, is actually super thin and it dries super flat, and the brush strokes are almost unnoticeable if you use a fine brush like the kind I am using, a nice flat bristle gold Teflon brush. You're going to want to do about 5 or 6 coatings again, especially for this red paint. With the gold paint, the black showing through kind of helps, but with the red paint, you really want a nice uniform color. This is after about 2 coats, but I went and I did about 5 or 6, maybe even 7, I can't remember. Next, you're going to want to get a heavy body acrylic black paint. We're going to start the weathering process. So go ahead, take a small brush. Don't water it down at all, and you can go ahead and just feather it into the crevices and edges of the helmet. I'm not exactly doing a wash on this helmet. I really don't recommend doing a watered down wash on this paint unless you seal it. However, I am not going to do a clear coat on this helmet because I want to keep that nice metallic sheen. I don't want to ruin it and give it a gloss coat. I want to keep it all very metallic looking. So you can go ahead and just take an old rag and just wipe away the excess. And leaving that black in the recesses really gives it a nice weathered look. So you're just want to go around the whole helmet. Everywhere in those recessed areas, you're just going to want to feather in some black paint. Make sure it's flat black paint because that really helps give a nice weathered look. And just wipe away the excess. Alright, this next part does require an airbrush. However, if you don't have one, you can totally do this by hand. You're just going to have to be more careful with it. So you're going to want to go around and with a black paint, just fade around all the edges of the gold. You can go heavy with this, it's okay, because we're going to be going back later and dry brushing over them again. So don't be afraid to go heavy on the gold, just don't go too heavy on the red parts. But on the gold, just take your airbrush, or if you're not using an airbrush, you can just go ahead and fade it on and just go around all the edges, even the high point edges and all the recesses, and just outline the whole helmet with a nice faded black. Give it a nice gradient. You're doing this because you want to give the helmet depth. Alright, now that you've done all the gold with the black airbrushing, just go ahead and do the same to the red and all the recesses. Again, if you're not using an airbrush, that's totally fine. You can even use a makeup brush, that would work very well. Makeup brushes are made to get good gradients. Just go ahead and shade in all the recesses and some of the high points of the helmet. You're going to have to use your own discretion which edges and high points to do, but you're just going to want to give the helmet more depth. It helps it look a lot nicer than just having a flat red color. Alright, now you're going to want to take that same old gold paint you used earlier and just dry brush all around the parts that you airbrushed black on the gold. What this is going to do is it's going to soften that black shading you did earlier, and it's going to add some scratch marks to the gold with the same color you used earlier, and it's going to look really nice. What it does is it really makes all the shading on the faceplate subtle and really brings it to life in this step. And then just go one over and dry brush the whole faceplate with the same gold. Now you're going to want a heavy body acrylic silver paint and a silver permanent marker. Now we're going to begin the final stages of weathering on this helmet. Take your silver metallic permanent marker and just go ahead and be careful with this. You don't want to overdo this. You're just going to want to go around all the edges of the helmet, all the high points, and just draw in almost like a paint chipping effect, kind of. You're just going to want to take that permanent marker and just literally just run it over some of the edges, give it a little wavy movement, and make it look like the paint is chipping off the helmet. And I will show you that closer here. Just do it on all the points of the helmet, all the high points. What this does is it makes it look like the paint has chipped away without having to actually chip the paint away. Now finally, this is the last step. Just take a chip brush, take that heavy body silver, and it's a little heavier than a dry brush, but you're just going to want to go over all the edges and just paint in some scratch marks. This is the final stage of weathering, and this really brings together the whole helmet and makes it look a lot more realistic than just leaving it alone. And that is it. Your helmet is done. Congratulations, you finished painting your Iron Man helmet. I'm going to insert some more high quality videos so you can see the final product of mine right now.
So there it is. That is how you can paint your very own Iron Man helmet. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I had a lot of fun making it. It was my first one. Like I said, I am going to be linking in the description all of the tools and materials that I use to paint this, so don't worry, you can use the exact same things that I use to make your very own. Also, in the future, I am going to be doing more full build tutorials. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make things out of foam as well as how to paint them. The reason I didn't do it for this one, again, there's already so many videos out there on how to make an Iron Man helmet, but in the future I will definitely be covering more things, how to make stuff out of foam, how to paint props. So be sure to like, subscribe. I'm going to link my social media below, so follow that stuff too. And that's it. See you later.